December 19th, 2024. We have major airstrikes from Israel onto Yemen because they FAFO'd, and then Mr. Putin has put out a challenge to the West and said, bring all your air defenses and let's see if they can stop the Oreshnik. So, yeah, not great, but bird flu is kicking butt and taking names. Just, a few of the wonderful little things going on out there. We covered some of this over on PrepperNow, but now we're going to get a little bit more in depth. So come on and strap in, lock in, and get ready for a little crisis report on December 19th, 2024. Sorry, these have been a little bit later than I like to do, but it's a busy time of year. So, yeah. Drone thing is still going on, but all kinds of new theories. Nobody really knows what's going on. I don't know. One person said you're seeing the ones with the FAA lights, the red and the green, and they're going up because they're looking for the other ones. So, I don't know. All I know is that we find it, we put it down here, and then we tell you about it. That's what the Crisis Report is all about. It is the most comprehensive news on YouTube, and I know I'm doing good because, well, if you see like what I can see in the background, it just gets the crap suppressed out of it. And yeah, I mean, they only want you getting your sources of information from like certain places. It's just funny how territorial they are. So we try to work around that. Well, that's why I started this. I hated all the other places. I didn't like the other sources, and I love news, clearly. And I went out and I just said, what if just someone just got a bunch of stuff and just put it down onto a list and just read it and just went through it, a little bit of analysis, but mainly just told me what's going on and said, yeah, this is what's going on, and you figure out what's what. Well, that's what we do here. That's what we do here. That's all we care about. So we go out, we find it. If it's newsworthy, I tabulate it, put it into the Crisis Report, which of course is on SUBSTAck. And then from there, you all make your own decisions. So, all right, we're about 3 minutes in. Let's get started. I'm tired. It's been a long week. God bless. Here we go. 12/19/2024. Crisis Report. Large-scale airstrikes against Yemen, possibly by the United States or Israel itself. What is interesting is that NATO has not tried to hit Russia with long-range missiles from Ukrainian territory for a long time, despite Zelensky's great euphoria a few months ago. Well, that gets changed tonight. Yep, there were some ATACMS used. Putin, in the first statement about the situation in Syria, says that Russia has not been defeated in Syria. We came to prevent a terror enclave from emerging there, and overall we have achieved our goals. We have evacuated 4,000 Iranian fighters from Syria to Tehran. The Kamamim base and the base in Tartus can be used to deliver humanitarian aid to Syria. They used 350 fighters to capture Aleppo. 30,000 government troops and pro-Iranian units retreated without a fight. I have not yet met with Assad since his arrival in Moscow, but I plan to do so. If that is true, I mean, that's... if you know anything about the Russian Revolution, they captured most of Russia with very tiny number of people. So if the person you're going up against just rolls over and dies, and it doesn't take much. Putin with an interesting offer to NATO. Select a target in Kiev. Concentrate all of your air missile defenses there. And Russia will strike it with the Oreshnik. We are ready for such an experiment. No one has a chance of shooting down the Oreshnik, he says. I hope they don't take them up and try to do that. So, because, yeah, that could be bad. Putin says he is ready to talk with Trump. I don't know when we meet because he doesn't say anything about this. I have not spoken to him for more than 4 years, but I am open for it anytime. Open for a meeting for a summit. Of course, they should talk. 2 separate airstrikes by the Israeli Air Force on targets related to the Ansar Allah movement of the Houthis in Yemen, capital of Sana'a, and the coastal city of Hodeidah, following Houthis' launch of a ballistic missile at 2:30 a.m. Overnight, the Yemenis launched the ballistic missile towards Israel. As usual, the Israelis claim to have intercepted it outside the airspace when in reality it successfully impacted. I did see a blast crater. It was pretty destructive. So who knows? You know, you go to Amir Sarfati, it's got a picture of a light post down, and you go to the pro-Eastern telegrams, and it's, looks like a devastated city. It's all whatever you believe. Israelis conducted 2 attacks on Yemen during the night. 14 fighter jets, along with refuelers and spy planes involved in the strikes, had been planned in the military for several weeks. Israeli Air Force fighter jets were already en route to Yemen when they launched a ballistic missile at around 2:35 a.m., 3:15. First wave of strikes was carried out along the coast of Yemen, hitting Hodeidah, Ras Isa, Salif. 8 tugboats were used to bring ships into the ports. Were also destroyed in the strikes. Second wave of airstrikes at 4:30 a.m. hit power stations in the capital, Sana'a. They dropped the hammer. So, we'll see where all this goes. But basically, Israel had a response waiting. They were ready. They're ready to go for it. So as soon as they chucked that missile or whatever it was, Israelis dropped the hammer. Russia repeated UAVs launched in the Ukrainian army on the Belgorod region, causing reportedly impacts of the Shebekinsky district of Belgorod city, Malo-Mikhailovka, Vozhnosenovka. Reported also arrivals on the outskirts. Russia has enough strength and resources to restore all of its historical territories, according to Putin. According to the map, Moscow has big plans for starting war against various countries. We don't know that for sure, but there is a current war footing. Ukraine launched Storm Shadow missiles towards Crimea and Sevastopol, Crimea. Last count of which truce we're on, but guess what? Turkey breaches it again. UCAVs, artillery and mercenaries hit Kobani, Ain Isa and Tishrin Dam. SDF shot down the Bayraktar TB2 at Karakazak. Full assault underway. Turkish army deployed heavy weapons to the villages of Birsos, Tobolak, and Senkok, located in the Shuruk district, or Sarush district. Whenever you see that little thing on the hook on the bottom, that C is a S sound. District at the border opposite of the city of Kobani. Putin says that 350 anti-regime forces took the city of Aleppo. 30,000 Assad regime troops and pro-Iranian fighters retreated without a fight, according to Anadolu. Russia, Ukraine launched possibly ATACMS missiles towards Belgorod in the region. Missile danger declared. Ukrainian Storm Shadow Scalp EG carrier activity towards Crimean Bridge, southern Crimea. Russia is increasing its army and security forces to 1.5 million people, according to Putin. Russia Colonel General N. Yuryev resigned from his post on the head of the FSB Military Counterintelligence Department, RVNP source. Storm in the Kerch Strait sank not only 4 oil tankers, triggering an ongoing ecological catastrophe, but also 23 out of 34 barges meant to secure the Crimean Bridge. Russia, missile attack on the Rostov region, possibly ATACMS. Ukrainian UAV assault on the Morozovsk field, Rostov Oblast. There will be no ceasefire until we have security guarantees in a strong position, says Zelensky. French Foreign Ministry, all Israeli military deployments in the Golan must end. Israel must respect Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Gaza war, a new massacre by the Zionist war criminals. I don't even know which way they're looking for. At a school in the Tofa neighborhood in Gaza City, killed and wounded about 30 Palestinians. This guy is not an Israeli fan. Jeff Bezos was spotted having dinner with Trump, Mar-a-Lago. Elon Musk also reportedly at the table. A lot of money there. White House unveils new climate goals weeks before Trump's return. That's awesome. Putin says he has not met Bashar al-Assad in Moscow, but plans to. Rand Paul has floated Elon Musk for Speaker of the House. Russia vows a response to Ukraine strike with Western missiles. FAA has banned drones over parts of New Jersey, threatening deadly force for imminent security threat, according to the New York Post. Yeah, we kind of covered this over on PrepperNow, but 2 days ago it wasn't a threat. Now they're shutting down airspace and threatening deadly force. I mean, who knows? Who knows? German police launched an espionage probe against Chinese suspect. Donald Trump on government shutdown says there won't be anything approved unless the debt ceiling is done with. If we don't get it, then we're going to have a shutdown, but it'll be Biden shutdown because shutdown's only in near to the person who's president. Hakeem Jeffries, bipartisan agreement that has now been detonated because of House Republicans, has been ordered to shut down the government and hurt the very working class Americans that many of them pretend to want to help. Yes, the Democrats, party of the little people. Absolutely. Western media reaction to Vladimir Putin's direct line. Reuters. Putin says Russia is ready for a missile duel with the U.S. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday proposed a missile duel with the United States that would show how Russia's new hypersonic ballistic missile, the Oreshnik, could defeat any American missile defense system. Der Spiegel says that Putin is delighted with Helmut Kohl, and Putin offers Trump negotiations and defend his invasion of Ukraine, according to Bloomberg. Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered to hold talks with the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, saying he should have invaded sooner. Times says that Putin is going to ask Assad about missing United States journalist Austin Tice. Zelensky criticized Putin's idea to conduct an experiment with an Oreshnik strike on Kiev. Putin said about a technological duel, he says that they would strike somewhere in Kiev with Oreshnik and let us install air defense and we'll see what happens. Do you think this is a sane person? That is a good question. So he carefully watched Putin's defense meeting. The United States is ready to strengthen the combat readiness of its nuclear forces if Russia refuses to cooperate on strategic weapons, according to the White House. England Defense Secretary stated that the English forces may be deployed to Ukraine for a training mission. London, which expects Washington to withdraw, is looking to play a new leadership role in this war. One person was killed and 4 were injured after a freight train hit a truck standing on the tracks in the city of Pecos, Texas. As a result of the impact, the train derailed and hit buildings. Full details about the attack last night in Yemen. 3:15, First Wave, Air Force. Aircraft began to attack on the coastal area of Yemen, more than 1,700 kilometers from the state of Israel. 4:30. Second wave of attacks in the Sana'a area. 14 fighter jets participated in the attack. All returned to Israel safely. Dozens of bombs were dropped on targets in the port of Hodeida the port of Ras Isa, and the port of Al Salif. In the ports, the tugboats that brought the ships to the port were attacked, which cripples their ability to bring tankers and merchant ships to all their ports. 2 targets in Sana'a were also attacked, fuel and oil tanks, and a power plant. A total of 5 targets were attacked throughout Yemen, each target including dozens of components. So the Houthis have fired more than 200 surface-to-surface ballistic missiles and another 170 drones since the beginning of the war. The vast majority of them did not reach Israel and were intercepted outside of territory by Israel or the U.S., according to the Israel and U.S. Houthi military spokesman claims that they launched 2 hypersonic ballistic missiles tonight at military targets in central Israel. Oh, there we go. Houthi military spokesman claims that they launched 2 hypersonic ballistic missiles tonight on military targets in central Israel. We have evacuated 4,000 Iranian fighters to Tehran from the Khmeimim base. Russia was not defeated in Syria. We achieved our goal in Syria. We did not allow the creation of an Islamic caliphate. It was not terrorists who came to power there. 30,000 government troops and pro-Iranian units retreated without a fight. Putin says that Russia was not defeated in Syria. We achieved our goals. We do not know how much we need our bases in Syria and what they can offer. We are thinking about the future of our bases in Syria based on the actions of the current authorities there. According to the latest polls, Pierre Poilievre will become the new Prime Minister of Canada and make it great again. Justin Trudeau's party will get only 10 seats. Canadian conservatism is not like American conservatism. So, good luck. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the Houthis are learning and will learn the hard way that whoever attacks Israel pays a very heavy price for it. As of this morning, the Air Force attacked strategic Houthi targets in the port of Hodeidah, deep inside Yemen. Did this in response to the Houthis' repeated attacks on civilian targets in Israel. Last night they attacked a school in Ramat Gan. They're not attacking us. They're attacking the entire world. They're attacking international shipping and trade routes. Thus then, when Israel acts against the Houthis, it is acting for the entire international community. The Americans understand this well, and so do many others. After Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Assad regime in Syria, the Houthis are almost the last remaining arm of Iran's evil axis. They're learning, and they will learn the hard way, that whoever harms Israel pays a very heavy price for it. Houthi leader Abdel Malek al-Houthi says, "We will increase our operations and continue to launch missiles at Israel. Since the beginning of the war, we have already launched 1,147 missiles and drones at them." Pentagon reveals there are 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria, surpassing the previously stated 900. America is getting a taste of its own medicine, drone terror, writes The Intercept. Material says that over the past 20 years, the United States has carried out a lot of operations in UAVs in Afghanistan, Yemen, Libya, Pakistan, Somalia, and other countries. Thousands of people, including civilians, became their victims. Now, Americans themselves are suffering from hysteria because of the emergence of which has led to the temporary closure of airports and airspace above. According to human rights activist Eric Sperling, people in the United States are fully realizing how inconvenient it is to have unknown aircraft buzzing overhead. He expressed the hope that incidents with mysterious drones will become a lesson for the American authorities. So, we shall see. Starbucks workers are going to plan to strike on Friday in LA, Chicago, and Seattle. Oh no, your favorite overpriced coffee will not be available. United States House rejects Republican bill to avert government shutdown. Last night, U.S. Congress submitted a budget proposal with the agreement of both Republicans and Democrats. Elon Musk attacked the budget on the X network and said he opposed it. Trump supported Musk and announced that he's opposed to the aforementioned budget, which wastes billions on unnecessary government spending. And we know that they're good at that. Evening, Republicans submitted an updated budget with all of the Musk amendments, reducing the length of the bill from 1,500 pages to just 116. House of Representatives has just concluded its budget vote. The budget failed to pass after 35 Republicans voted against Musk's budget and 13 more Republicans abstained. George Mason University student, Egyptian national, has been arrested for planning a terrorist attack against the Israeli consulate in New York with explosives. Comes after 2 other students at the university were found with death to the JASE signs, Hamas flags, and guns in their house. House Republicans are reportedly exploring a plan to divide the spending bill into smaller parts for individual voters rather than passing it as a single package, according to Politico. Joe Biden is set to meet the Pope in Vatican just days before he leaves office. Senator Ron Paul says they need to appoint Elon Musk the new Speaker of the House instead of Mike Johnson. The Georgia Court of Appeals has decided to disqualify Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis and her office for handling the 2020 election interference case against Donald John Trump. Senator Lindsey Graham plans to oppose Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination for Secretary of Health and Human Services. I gotta read what you said there, buddy. A second. On the edge of the vast precipice, millimeters to the point of no return, seconds from the cavalcade of catastrophes, microseconds from having our poop pushed in. Correct. It's a poop pushing thing. Mexico has announced its readiness to accept Mexicans deported from the United States under Trump. Senator Lindsey Graham plans to oppose Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination as Secretary of Health and Human Services. Why? Because it's Lindsey. Mike Johnson is at serious risk of losing a vote for House Speaker as multiple Republicans announced they will not be supporting him. United States House of Representatives fails to get votes to pass stopgap funding bill and avoid the government shutdown. Senator Mike Lee predicts Mike Johnson being replaced as Speaker by Vivek Ramaswamy or Elon Musk. Elon Musk posts picture of old versus new bill. Vivek Ramaswamy says this 116-page bill, much shorter than the previous 1,500 pages. Key removals are congressional pay raise and benefits. They want to take them up to $250,000 a year from $174. 17 miscellaneous commerce bills, new Rona policies, and a containment lab funding, and renewal of censorship-linked global engagement funding. 38 Republicans voted against the Trump-backed continuing resolution. List of the 38 Republicans who voted against it: Aaron Bean, Andy Biggs, Josh Breachin, Tim Burchett, Eric Burleson, Kat Comack. So if you see your person on there, well, you know what to do. Commodore Ali Akbar Ahmadian, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, in response to the Israeli aggression on our territory will certainly be carried out, as the Supreme Leader said. When it comes to enforcing our national security, we neither rush nor delay. The blood of our defense martyrs is expensive. Leader of the Yemen's Ansar Allah, Abdul Malik al-Houthi, says Egypt is also under threat. The situation in Egypt may deteriorate quickly, and the Zionist regime will seek to destroy all the capabilities and powers of the Egyptian army like they did in Syria. Additional photos from the impact of the site of the Ansar Allah ballistic missile in Ramat Gan, according to Tel Aviv. Israeli military later acknowledged that the missile's warhead hit the building, labeling it a failed interception. Hebrew media reports that intercepts fragments also landed around the Knesset. United States State Department top diplomat for the Middle East, Barbara Leaf, will travel to Damascus in the coming days to meet with HTS leader Abu Mohammed al-Julani. Russia, Ukrainian armed forces launched UAVs towards Yeysk, Krasnodar Krai. At least 4 combat UAVs have been launched from Odessa in an unknown direction. Ukrainians must make a fundamental decision, either continue fighting or negative, with an attempt to bring it to a ceasefire. Should anyone negotiate with someone who has been attacked without any logical reason? Oh well. U.S. alarmed Russia is close to accepting nuclear-armed North Korea. Moscow and Pyongyang defended their growing cooperation with the United States, expressed alarm at the United Nations Security Council that Russia was close to accepting a nuclear-armed North Korea. Alarmingly, we assess that Russia may be close to accepting North Korea's nuclear weapons program, reversing Moscow's decades-long commitment to denuclearize the Korean peninsula, said U.S. Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield. Putin proposes a technological duel, said select a target in Kiev. Concentrate all of your air defenses in that direction. And if you can take it down, he's literally testing us. Benjamin Netanyahu threatened Yemen, said the Houthis isn't Iran's last remaining hand. We'll learn the hard way. Israeli media claims that a high-level American delegation will travel to Damascus in the coming days to hold the first American meeting with al-Julani. And what's going on in Russia with Ukraine? Well, Russia's managed to take control of further areas south of Velitka Novosilka. The danger of encirclement of the villages of Storozhiv increase after the latest Russian advances. Situation around Kharkov is deteriorating for the Ukrainians. Russian ground troops advance further north, threatening to encircle the entire area around Kharkov. And during the advance, the Russians captured additional villages. From Toretsk, Sabalka district, comes the first visual confirmation of Russian control over the entire district. Proud of you guys. For the past 10 to 13 days, U.S. is anticipating a North Korean missile launch. Okay? Former CDC Director Robert Redfield said there will be a bird flu ronademic, one far outweighing and more devastating than the Rona. And talk show hosts on The View have concluded that Elon Musk and J.D. Vance are involved in a conspiracy to take out Donald Trump. Yeah. So, friends, that is your crisis report for December 19th, 2024. Please hit that like button. Do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, and we will see you on the next one. God bless. Have a great night.